Hello, sci-fi gangsters. This is a show where we talk about science fiction, video games, comic books, but really it's just an excuse for me to catch up with my friends, old and new. Today we're talking WandaVision, right? WandaVision review. This is the review show, right? If you came here, you came here for WandaVision conversation, discussion, reviewness, right? Is WandaVision the greatest show ever made? Or is it the worst? We'll talk. We'll discuss, right? That will be today's topic for today. Of course, before we even begin, time codes. That's what everybody wants, right? That's what everyone keeps telling me. Time codes. If you're watching it live, no time codes. But if you want to skip ahead to the WandaVision discussion, you may. The time codes will be there because I'll put them in there. But since we're live, no time codes right now. But yeah, so I'm Anthony Dinar, media scholar. I can call myself media scholar. This is what we decided last episode. I can call myself a media scholar and person. WandaVision is the conversation that we're talking about. But first, catch up with my friends. That's the whole point of the show, is to catch up with friends. We have Jeremy Shepard. We have AcidTrain. And we have Josh Hillyer. Josh Hillyer now, Josh is apparently hiding from his family in his closet. But it's good to have him here. Josh, when we first met, I used to call you Mr. Hillyer because you were my teacher. A little bit of history between us. You taught a class that I don't even remember. It was something about writing for fiction or something like that. What was it?
It was screenwriting.
It was screenwriting.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm going to take credit for you being a media scholar.
That's true. You started it, right? You started me on my path. The student has now become the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Much more so. Yeah. Teaching in the Zoom era.
Exactly. I'm teaching via Zoom. I'm a Zoom teacher. But yeah, it's good to have you, Josh. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. This is so I've actually been in ministry for a few years and used to co-host a video game podcast about retro games, and podcasting is just near and dear to my heart. So getting to be part of this is very exciting for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I do remember you had a podcast. What happened with that? Is that something you did for a while and just decided to give up on it? Or is it something that just too much work?
Yeah. I just hate work. No, it was the retro video game one I was a co-host, and the main host of that decided to end that one after a while. And that was back in my play, if anybody wants to look that one up. And the other one is not even on the internet anymore at all. And I interviewed some pretty interesting people. The guy who wrote Ori and the Blind Forest, if you've played that video game.
That's impressive.
And he was my first guest.
That's crazy. Wow.
I know.
That game is amazing.
I know. I adore it. And it was called Digital Rights. And like a play on words, rights, WRITES. And we interviewed people who wrote narratives and things of that nature for outside of the traditional television and film world. So mainly people who wrote stuff related to video games.
Nice. All right, excellent. Well, now you're hiding from your family in your closet. You found a safe space, right? As long as you can find a safe space from your family.
I'm hoping the hex doesn't close in on me.
That's true. Well, there we go. There's a call to what we're talking about today, WandaVision. Right, but Josh, the first thing we do is we catch up. We talk about what's new, what's happening. We catch up with what happened in the week because we meet every week. So I'll go ahead and begin. I have a new phone. Here we go. This is what we're talking about, Josh. This is what this show is about.
I thought you were going to bring out a Nokia flip phone. Just here's my new phone.
No, so I have a brand new phone. My old phone. I've had it for a long time. It had a cracked screen. I had it for multiple years, probably 3 or 4 years. It was on its last legs. I think it was a couple days ago. I just had it, dropped it, didn't turn on anymore. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I need a new phone. To tell you how old my phone it was a Galaxy S7. This is a Galaxy S20. Nice. That's how old my phone was. So I got a brand new phone. I still haven't got the OtterBox in. I'm waiting for OtterBox. So I'm treating this like a Fabergé egg because I'm afraid that I'm going to break it. Like, I'm so nervous. I had to take it to work, obviously. So I had to take it to Auburn, and I'm like being very careful with it, making sure that I don't drop it because it will explode if I drop it without the OtterBox. So I'm waiting for that. It's a pretty good phone, I'll say. I will say this, when I went to go buy it, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. My phone wasn't working, and then Alinda was like, well, we got to get you a new phone. So what we did is what you should not do. We went to Best Buy with the family. So we took the 2 kids to Best Buy, and I tried to get a new phone. So I picked up my phone. The person, the Geek Squad, they were very helpful at first. He was very helpful. I bought my phone, and then all you had to do was activate it. And during this process, that's when he decided to have drama with his coworker. From me buying the phone to him activating it, halfway through is when he decided to have drama with his coworker. So that was fantastic. I was there forever because of this. So I had bought the phone. I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to activate it. And then he started complaining that the other guy wasn't taking people. He was kind of just, I guess he was not helping, or he took too long of a lunch break or something like that. And then he was like talking smack about him behind his back. I could hear it. I could hear it all. And I wasn't enjoying this, being a part of this conversation. But, and then the guy came over and they were kind of going back and forth. One of them was telling him to relax, and the other one was not liking that. And I was just like, I just want my phone. Can you activate my phone? And then the one guy that was helping me that I bought the phone from was just like, all right, can you take him? I want to take somebody else. So the new guy had no idea where I was in the process, and we had to essentially do everything over again, not buy the phone again, but I had to reactivate my phone again. Kids are screaming. They're out there. They're running around Best Buy, grabbing everything. Alinda's upset because, she's, having to distract the kids from breaking things in Best Buy. But it was a fun experience. But what I'm trying to say is I got my phone. I got my new Galaxy S20. I'm enjoying it so far.
I am curious, Anthony, why instead of going to your carrier store, would you go to a third party like Best Buy?
Well, because I thought it was going to be easier.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be easier. Because Alinda actually happened to Linda. She broke her phone and she went to Best Buy, and she went to Best Buy and she's like, yeah, and they'll do everything. They'll activate it for you. You don't have to go then to your carrier. So it's not like a two-step process. They'll do everything there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, we'll just go to Best Buy. And then we also thought Best Buy would have the best selection. Like they would have more selection there at Best Buy. I don't know why we thought that. But I got my phone. It was the last phone they had. It was actually on sale too for $500.
So display model.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a display model.
Does it have pictures of other people on it already?
That's true. Yeah. It's like, oh, this cute Asian family. Who's this?
Well, there you go. That was my exciting week. I had a brand new phone. Very enjoyable process going to Best Buy. The Geek Squad. I almost said something. I almost said, can you guys do this some of the time? Like I was there. I was on the verge of saying that, but I held my breath there.
It sounds like the Geek Squad might be breaking up.
I don't know what was going on with the Geek Squad. There's obviously drama. I'm assuming that one guy, everybody at Best Buy thinks that this one guy does not do his job well. That's my assumption. He took a break, and they were upset that he wasn't helping out with customers. And then I got caught in the middle between those two people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just think, you could have just ordered it online and skipped all that.
You could have.
Again, I could have activated myself, right? But I want to make sure that because maybe I would activate it incorrectly. I don't know. So, but yeah, that was a fun experience. Yes, I could have ordered it online, Jeremy. Okay, we get it. But then I wouldn't be able to look at all the different selection. I don't know. Anyways, actually, you know what? That sale might have been only with Best Buy. It was like $200 off the phone. So there you go. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to Jeremy. Jeremy, what's going on with you besides buying all your phones online?
Yeah, I haven't left the house in 2 weeks. Nothing really. So I was feeling like super nostalgic for conventions and things and whatnot. So I listened to a little Crook Chatter today to get me in the Dragon Con kind of mood.
Okay, so Josh, if you're not familiar, I have to stop here just to kind of fill you guys in. The band is called what? Croc Shower? What is it called again?
The Crux Shadows.
The Croc Shadows.
They basically sound the same as what's
Crotch
on your
Shower.
T-shirt.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare. This is the greatest band in the world. Don't you dare compare Croc Shower or whatever they're called to Depeche Mode.
I like the Crux Shadows.
All right, so the Croc Shadow, I still am getting it wrong. This band
You're intentionally getting it wrong at this point.
is synonymous
to offend people.
is synonymous with Dragon Con because every year they have a table in a very prime location in one of the hotels. Marriott, right? In the Marriott? Yeah, so they have a prime location. And everyone at Dragon Con knows this band because they show up every year and their music is blaring when you walk by it. Like they have a really nice setup. Maybe they've been grandfathered in. Maybe that's why they're still there. Maybe they've just been around for so long that they have a cheap setup with the Marriott somehow. But so he was listening to this particular band because it brings back memories of Dragon Con. But yeah, please, Jeremy, I had to explain to them, but please,
Thank
please
you
continue.
for that. Yeah.
No, so I've been scouring trying to find a convention that's in person, in somewhat of the middle summer, but it looks like none are going to be in person until DragonCon, hopefully.
Well, San Diego Comic-Con famously has been canceled this year as well, so there's no San Diego Comic-Con. But DragonCon, it may be late enough in the year where it's on. Who knows?
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
What's
In
normally what
nostalgic news, I'm like 3 months late to the party on this, but I just found out that they're relaunching G4 in a limited extent. So I used to watch a lot of the G4 when I was a younger man, and I enjoyed it. So we'll see how it goes.
And just so everybody knows, I am frozen. I am frozen. So
he's doing his mime technique.
I'm just very disinterested in what you're saying, to the point where I can barely move. But we'll go ahead and move on.
This is the result when you do not have a Logitech camera, ladies and gentlemen.
That's true.
This is the result.
All right, Acid, we'll go ahead and move on to you while I fix my camera. Go ahead.
Cool. Well, this is great. I love looking at this picture. Just leave this. I like this.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
I was going to make that my background.
Yeah, there you go. You could just be like on the side, like over
Right.
here.
Just looking at him.
But it's Friday, the Friday before spring break. Oh yes, I am off all next week. I'm super excited. And we're not going anywhere, except maybe to, I don't know, Tiger Town to get some clothes for the kids and to get me a pair of those fat jeans, you know, that you don't have to suck your gut in. But yeah, I actually ordered some new t-shirts and a pair of shorts from Blizzard this week. So I got a Rock and Roll Racing t-shirt. I don't know if you played Rock and Roll Race, kind of retro.
Oh yeah, yeah, they re-released it.
First games, yeah. I bought the Blizzard arcade. I was really excited. So I bought one of those t-shirts and then 3 Hearthstone t-shirts because I'm a Hearthstone nerd. So I bought that, and then I bought a pair of Hearthstone shorts as well, just from the Blizzard store online. They gave me a coupon since I participated in the BlizzCon line this year, so it was free for everybody. But I got like 15% off, so that's pretty exciting. Construction on 280 is still real, still going on. I hate every bit of it, and now
pretty bad.
Farmville's getting worse. They're making that roundabout at Farmville. Now they've closed off half the road. It's fantastically annoying.
And by Farmville, you mean the Facebook app Farmville?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
It's still getting worse.
Yeah.
10 years ago, man, that was the thing.
Yeah. And let's see. Kids are with grandma. That's about it. Nothing crazy this week. Thank goodness. Everyone's still alive this week. I'm really excited about that.
Good.
And no other coworkers quit, so I think we're okay for the time being. So let everybody get a week to rest, to gather their thoughts. Maybe sing a little kumbaya or something, and come back and finish out the school year strong. Because after this, we only got 9 weeks to go, and then we're full-fledged summertime. So that's like 9-10 weeks straight
Wow.
off in a row. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll go to we're actually planning a trip to Harry Potter World beginning of summer. So hopefully by then, I know they're open now, but hopefully by then it'll be not as restrictive as like Disney is right now. Disney's like, gosh, ridiculous. They just updated their mask mandates. Actually, my wife was telling me about that today. If you are not physically putting a piece of food or drink in your mouth at Disney World, you better have a mask on. Like, you can't even sit at the food table and talk to each other without a mask on. Like, you better be scarfing down those fries or whatever.
It wasn't like that a few weeks ago.
It wasn't. I know. They just changed it like this week or whenever it was. So I was quite shocked that they went in the opposite direction. So, but because I mean, they're still doing the distancing and they're still doing the limit caps. So I don't know what the deal is. But anywho, I'm excited for Harry Potter World. So.
You know, this summer everyone's going to be going to Disney World, right? Like everyone is going to be going.
Yeah.
Not this guy. Nope.
Like everyone's going to be going to Florida. Like, so it's like, oh, the pandemic is over. We're all going to Florida.
This might be the worst summer ever to be in Florida. Yeah.
I think
I'll
so.
let you know how it goes. If I don't come back and I'm not on the show anymore, I've died in Florida. That's what happened.
If anything, go north, go up,
We'll
right?
just go
Because
to
they're all
Florida.
coming down. You
Is there
go
a
up.
Harry Potter World in Canada?
I don't know.
I need to find one.
The Wizarding World.
Yep.
I've actually read many academic articles on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I bet you have.
There you go. Excellent. All right, Acid. There you go. Next is Josh. Josh, what we do here is we just, what's new with you? What's going on? Right?
Yeah. What's new for me? I'm doing well overall. I had to write a paper for seminary this week. I'm in seminary, which is a very popular subject on podcast about WandaVision. I found. I just do the rounds on the WandaVision podcast, talking about theology. And
Right.
there probably are some multiverse and different ideas there and creating things out of nothing and whatnot. But anyway, so that was on my brain a bit, and just kind of preparing for next week and having the family at home. It's my wife's birthday week, and just trying to trying to do something that will show her that I really appreciate her.
Tell her I said happy birthday.
That's my plan.
Yeah, do it.
There you go. Excellent.
I know her
plan.
too. That's
Yeah.
I want to, we ought to do a show where we say, all right, how many pictures of our former guests does AcidTrain have in his house in a yearbook somewhere? I bet I would quite shock you if I had to guess.
It's better that you specified in a yearbook,
In
though,
a yearbook,
and it's not like you
sorry.
just have.
I just have random pictures of people on my wall.
How many of my personal
Well,
shrines?
I mean, look, think about it. We've got, let's see, we had Rivers.
Rivers?
We had who else did we have?
Chrissy?
Yeah, we had Chrissy. Sarah now. Who else have we had? I'm trying to think. I would be actually shocked if you invited Matt Z on this show. And
I love that man.
And,
We should do Matt Z. Matt Z would be perfect, except we would invite him and he wouldn't show up. He would be all excited the morning of, and then he would not show up.
Well, what's crazy to me is that you know all these people separate from the way that I know all these people, which I find that's like
Except for Matt Z. No. I knew Matt Z different from, you're right.
I went to high school with Matt Z, yeah.
I knew Matt Z from Dillard's because we both worked at Dillard's.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot he worked at
I was a security guard at Dillard's, and he worked in, I want to say, the jewelry section. Like, I'm pretty sure.
That's the funniest thing to say, at least. So, yeah, we'll go with
I
that.
met Josh at GameStop.
That's right.
When I was managing GameStop, they would come
frequent customer.
Yeah, they would come in, and I don't even remember what you bought, but y'all would come in on a regular basis,
Yeah, I was usually exploiting trade-in deals.
That's it, yeah.
Maybe
Those were
block that
horrible
part.
deals, by the way. I tried to warn you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. And I was probably buying a lot of GameCube and then Wii stuff and anything first-party Nintendo.
Yeah. But sorry, I interrupted. Please continue on what has been going
Well,
on.
and I don't know, can you guys see this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. What happened there?
I
Is
tripped
that
over.
why you're hiding in the closet?
Yeah.
They're after you.
Yeah, gotta make the pain stop.
Okay.
I tripped over a rock, a very large rock in my backyard,
Oh.
and very like Three Stooges style, fell probably a good 4 or 5 feet sideways and just could not get my footing, and then hit my face on the stairs leading up to my deck.
Ouch.
And yeah, I had to get stitches, and this is what it looks like 2 weeks later, so it's going to leave a scar. It's pretty clear at this point.
Now you have a war scar. You can be like, well, you know what I was doing. I was in the backyard and this bear came, right? You could tell some real amazing story.
So what happened to your hands? Were your hands tied behind your back? Why are you going to the face first?
Right. That's something I like to do in the backyard. It's survival scenarios.
That's right.
Yeah. Hog tie myself and flop around in the backyard, see if I can survive.
Of course, now that I mocked you, I'm going to be falling down my stairs tonight. I think that's definitely going to happen.
He's going to have a broken nose next show. What happened?
Or I'll be jumping on my trampoline, and then I'll have a football on the trampoline, and I'll roll my ankle on the football, which I have done.
Yeah, that sounded too specific to be.
Yes. I severely sprained my ankle. Severely sprained my ankle on the trampoline. One time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those injuries can take a long time to heal as well.
I remember this taking a long time. Well, Josh, it was great catching up with you. That's all we have for today. I felt like I was like ending the show. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not ending the show. We're getting to let's go ahead and talk about WandaVision, right? We'll talk about WandaVision, what we liked, what we didn't like, right? We'll start with the positives and negatives, what we're looking forward to seeing next, right? All those things. We'll kind of take our turn.
I find it I don't say strange. They took a totally different direction as far as how the show was set up. I was kind of hoping, like, I enjoy shows more like in the theme of like, I'm going to bring up Buffy again. So you know who the villain is. You know who they are. You know who Big Baddie is. And at the end of the season, you beat Big Baddie, right? Like you just boom. And then you've gotten connected with the bad guy. You know, the villain is you've hated them for the whole season. You know what's going on. At the end, they finally get defeated and it's like, yes, finally. Here, you didn't get that. Mm-hmm. You had no idea who Big Baddie was until the very end. So, I mean, you had the little Big Baddie as far as the military is concerned. You had them trying to, fix everything or whatever and get Wanda. But then you had Witch Big Baddie. So I found that very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. So how do you want to do this? You want to talk about like things that you liked? We'll each kind of pick one thing that we liked. We'll talk about it, and then maybe we'll do another round of that, and then we'll do possibly things that we didn't like. We kind of do that. Let me do this first. Let me start off with this because I'm going to rant for a second here.
Okay.
This is the one thing I did not like about WandaVision, and it actually really upsets me. Okay. And it's still kind of unclear. If Pietro is not X-Men Quicksilver, then Marvel, screw you. Like that was a troll beyond all trolls, right? So if this was just, we're just kidding. We were kidding. Okay, so the whole point. So if you're going to hire the actor who played Quicksilver in the X-Men universe, and we all know that Disney now owns the X-Men now, by hiring him, obviously the fans are going to say, oh, look, this is how we're going to introduce the X-Men into, or at least the multiverse in the MCU now, right? It gets people all excited. And then and it seems like this is what they're doing. If this was all just we got you, he's just a regular dude named Boner, then I hope there's backlash, and I hope Marvel feels it, because this could be the biggest misstep that Marvel has ever done in the MCU.
I'm confused with your comments now. So I haven't watched him in X-Men stuff. So you said they've hired the actor that was Quicksilver in another show or in a movie or whatever. And but in WandaVision, there was a specific scene where Wanda was like, "Why do you look different?"
Yep.
What did she mean by that then?
So yeah, just if you're not familiar with it, so
Yeah, I'm not
Quicksilver
familiar.
has existed in
Right.
2 cinematic universes.
Okay.
He existed in the MCU in
Right.
Avengers Ultron, where he dies, right? He gets killed there.
Right. Okay.
But Quicksilver has also existed in X-Men films, so that we've had 2 Quicksilvers, and of course,
Is
they're
it the
completely
same
different.
actor? Is it the same
No,
guy?
no, no, they're different actors.
They're different actors. Okay.
So to choose that actor, not the one that was for not for the MCU actor, but to choose that actor, of course, fans are going to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is how we're introducing X-Men into the MCU now. This is the beginning." But and it seems like this is the direction they're going in, if this was just a big troll, if this was just, we got you, you thought it was the other Quicksilver, but it's just a guy named Boner, right? Then screw you, Marvel. How dare you? Because you don't do that. This is because it just upsets me. And it really does, because this is what we were all thinking. And
but it's the
Except
same.
for
Like
me, I wasn't
there were moments where everyone was thinking, like everyone thought the aerospace engineer was going to be Reed Richards.
this is different. This is 100% different, and it is.
No, it's
I don't
No,
think
this is
so.
100%
because
different.
the X-Men are coming in at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
It's years
obviously
away, though.
100% going to happen at some point. The X-Men are going to come into the MCU. So
Right.
if it's now or later, what difference does it make?
Yeah, but by hiring the actor who played an X-Men character, it's clearly I guess it was a misdirect. It was clearly designed to get fan reaction, right? And in fact, I've actually done a little research. If you listen to the what do you call it, the audio translation or the whatever, it actually says Wanda sees the actor who played Quicksilver in the X-Men universe. Like, it says that in the translation. So clearly this was designed to get fans talking, right? And if it turns out this was all just a big troll job, then this upsets me. This really, 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 really upsets me. But Josh,
do you want the MCU to become nothing but fan service and just giving the fans what they want?
this is not fan service.
And basically,
This is fan trolling. This is a deliberate. This is a deliberate. Like, we got you, fans. No, we're not doing this, right?
So
But
I have a case to make for Marvel here, which,
Okay.
believe me, I never like to be on the side of the billion-dollar corporation. But in this case, WandaVision is such a metatextual thing, like commentary on television and referencing things from television and television history in every single episode, and so you're looking at the aspect ratio or what they're doing with the blocking or with the staging and the backgrounds and set design and all that kind of stuff, even breaking down the commercials and when they switch to single cam and do some of the Malcolm in the Middle stuff. And to me, this was just a total, when they introduced Quicksilver, it was very much, this place is not right. It's off. And that was just kind of a nod to, that was sort of a meta commentary as well. Hey, this is kind of funny that the wrong version of Quicksilver is here. And the viewers know that this is Fox's Quicksilver, even though we have the rights, and which is how we're able to do that in the first place. So yeah, I kind of saw it as a meta commentary thing, and less of a trolling of, we were hoping that this would be the introduction of the mutants into the MCU. And you're frozen again, by the way.
He is frozen, and you lost some light.
And I lost light. I started talking and it all went wrong.
Everyone, look out.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took it too. I didn't think it was anything intentional against the fans or anything. It was just them highlighting the inconsistency of her
right. Right. Yeah. And it was just kind of it was a very postmodern kind of nod to, this is weird, isn't it? And he's quite the guitar player, we learned, by the way.
Yeah, I heard most of what you said, and I
There's
get
all a
it.
cry for help.
Yeah, so I can buy that argument, but I don't think that's what they were doing. Like,
You think
I
it
think,
really
I think
was meant to
we
blogs
can
and
kind of,
YouTube videos and whatnot talking.
yeah, I think that's what it was, right? It was designed to generate buzz. Maybe it was supposed to be like a playful nod, like, I guess, but I think you're giving them too much benefit of the doubt here. Jeremy, what do you think? I feel like you also disagree with me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree with Josh. I mean, I think, when you look back and seeing the little things they planted throughout the movies going, even back before the MCU really launched. Feige has had like a long-term vision thing. I wouldn't put it past him to have, thought of this as a, more of a meta statement. I don't think they don't really need to generate buzz, right? They've got their built-in audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Disney Plus has crashed 2 of the 9 weeks that they've, like early in the morning when the episode has gone up.
Yeah. I don't take it as cheap, hints that they're using just to drum up publicity.
See, I disagree. I see this as like trolling, as like, hey, you nerds, you think too much, and look what we did.
I think you spent too much time.
We tricked you. We got you. You thought that it was, and this is the first show, movie, or whatever after Disney acquired Fox, right? So now we all the fans know that the X-Men can now come into the MCU, and we're all wondering, all right, so how is it going to happen? And then you show an X-Men character. Of course, people are going to be like, okay, maybe is this going to be, is this how we're introducing the X-Men into the MCU? And obviously, it seems like that's not the case. But I will say this: this is my only gripe with the entire series. I enjoyed the entire series. This is the one thing where I felt like Marvel was kind of messing with me a little bit, and messing with all of us.
I think it was because you had a very specific anticipation that something like this was going to happen, and then it ended up not happening.
I think we all did. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of us were expecting some sort of like big cameo. All right, but obviously they did not happen. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. I spoke a lot. I gave my opinion. What are some things that you enjoyed? We'll start off with the things that we enjoyed. So we'll go ahead and go Acid first.
Things that I enjoyed. I was talking about, Big Baddie a second ago. It is kind of refreshing to see, at least for me, because I'm not a huge knowledge seeker of all that is Marvel like you guys are. But as far as like Agatha, her being like in the role that she was in, like it was nice to see something different for me for a change, because I've watched X-Men and all that kind of stuff, and I've never seen her before, and I thought I've actually never seen Wanda before, Scarlet Witch. I've never seen her before, so it was kind of refreshing for me as coming from that angle, from the way that they did it, and we can get into this later, but I think the storyline was weak as far as a whole, but the way that they portrayed it there, the last 2 episodes, I really enjoyed both of their interactions together.
All right, great. Jeremy, you're next. What's one thing you enjoyed about it?
I really liked the kind of the entire thing. I like the way, stylistically, the way they did it. I had seen Elizabeth Olsen do some more serious work. She had a movie with, I want to say Jason Bateman, that I'd seen her in. But beyond that, I hadn't really seen her do significant amount of acting. And I was quite impressed. I think she's very good.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Yeah, and Paul Bettany's great, and yeah, pretty much everybody.
They weren't
more or
lacking in
less
talent
happy.
at all. I didn't find anybody corny. I didn't find anybody like, oh, that's a stupid character. Like I didn't find, like, even down to the kids. Like the kids did an amazing job. You know, I thought that was a great job.
I'm still hoping to see a House of M moment with Scarlet Witch. It would have been too soon for them to do it at the end of this series, but
well, you couldn't have a true House of M moment because there's no mutants.
Well, I mean, my guess is that there'll be a House of M moment, and when it gets reversed, that's how the X-Men and whatnot come in. But I mean, you know, you could have something similar to where she just takes out, you know, everybody that's not Vision and her kids. But
yeah, I agree with everything you said. I thought the performances were great. I thought the connection, like the chemistry between Vision and Wanda, was fantastic. They pulled on the heartstrings, like in a way that I wasn't expecting it to. Like especially when it came to the kids.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't expect to care about the kids as much as you did, based on the fact that we
hate kids in shows like this. Like when Star Trek introduced
You're breaking up there,
Alexander
man.
Rozhenko, I was like, come on, let's skip the kids. You know, nobody wants to watch kids run around.
Yeah, but if we talk about the like the ending where, you know, she sacrificed her kids and Vision to save the not to save them, to let them go, right? But I mean, that was kind of an emotional part. I wasn't expecting to care about the kids as much as I did, and it was kind of sad. You know what it reminded me of? The same kind of feeling. Remember in the Titanic, where in the bottom, where they had that family that was sleeping in the bed with their kids. They were holding their kids while their room was filling up with water. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what that felt like.
Slightly different because that actually happened. So, in order magnitudes of sadness, people dying on the Titanic,
real sadness,
a little bit more than WandaVision.
I mean, we don't know if there was actually a family that laid with their kids in their bed while the water was flowing. By the way, that's very like romantic until like the water's like up to here and they're all drowning to death. And then, I mean, so that's kind of what it made me feel like when she was putting the kids to bed. And maybe it's because I'm a father and no one would really know if they weren't a father. I definitely agree with what Jeremy was saying with the performances. I thought the performances were great. Josh, what do you think?
So, okay, full disclosure, 90s, that's my era. You know, I was born in the 80s, and 90s were my coming of age years, and Marvel was a big part of that for me, from comic books to video games to animated TV shows, to the rise of Marvel versus Capcom. I promise I'm going to actually answer the question in a second, but this is all relevant to it actually. And I was really excited when the MCU started in 2008 or so, whenever Iron Man came out, and it became clear over time this is going to be a thing, and they're going to connect these movies together, and there's going to be stingers at the end of them. And then somewhere after Guardians 2, I just sort of lost interest. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know if it was just like too frequent, kind of like what was happening with Star Wars for a bit there. But I kind of just jumped off the bandwagon for a bit. And this was, other than I went to see Infinity War and I went to see Endgame opening nights, mainly for the spectacle, to be honest. But other than that, I didn't see anything like Ant-Man even until just recently. I rewatched everything that I missed. And this was the first thing that had hooked me and brought me in a long time, when I saw that trailer where it's like black and white in a sitcom. And I was like, this is so profoundly weird and un-Disney-like, you know, for them to do something so experimental and to give these two their own show, you know, and to call it WandaVision, like riffing on the idea of television. And so I loved a lot about it. and it made me get all the way back into the MCU as kind of a lifelong lapsed Marvel fan. So I kind of mentioned some of this stuff earlier, but I thought that the playing around with color and color palettes and aspect ratios, and then switching aspect ratios when they would go into the real world, I just thought all that stuff was brilliant. Just really brilliant. If I was still teaching a film class or screenwriting or something, I'd definitely use some examples of that. And it was really cool to see White Vision in the end, just as someone who loved the video game Captain America and the Avengers. That was White Vision who was in that video game. If anybody remembers that old arcade game. Has some really bad voiceover work in it, by the way, if you go watch a long play of it on YouTube. So I thought that was all great. I mean, the Agatha All Along song, that alone might be worth the price of admission. It was so good, and showing her in the director's seat and some of that stuff. And I read that was by the people who wrote Let It Go. That it was they've written some songs for Disney's bigger sing-along kind of films, and that shows. And finally, I know I'm gushing here, the commercials in the in-universe commercials, and kind of
like this.
Yeah, especially talking about the 90s, the one with the shark and the yogurt, and then the kid, the claymation of the kid. The yogurt. Yeah, and he turns into a skeleton, which is also 90s, by the way. Just over the top in your face, how is this actually advertising the product kind of stuff. So I liked it. If you
excellent. Well, there you go. Josh was having a hard time thinking of something he liked about WandaVision.
Right.
Maybe when we get back to him, he'll think of something he actually liked about WandaVision.
We'll see.
But I agree with everything you're saying.
It's no Spider-Man 3.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I thought the series was great, and if you notice that the final episode was called series finale, not season finale, so I don't know if that's a hint that they're not going to be doing another WandaVision. But yeah, I thought it was a great show, and we've already talked about this before. But I did, when I first started watching the first 2 episodes, I guess 3 episodes, I thought it was going too slow. I was kind of disappointed with. I felt like, obviously, they were going a certain direction with the TV sitcom being disrupted, right? And it was kind of like this eerie, something was going wrong with, I thought those moments were really cool. And I was like, I kind of wanted more of those moments. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be weirder. And I was a little bit disappointed and a little bit concerned that every episode was going to be like this, whereas essentially it's going to be an episode every decade. I was like, this is not something I'm interested in. But around episode 4, I think I was all in. I was definitely all in it, and I thought the performances were great. I thought the direction that they took in terms of being more magic centered, right? When everything was, it's the MCU. It's not exactly grounded in reality like Batman Begins or anything like that, but it's mostly more grounded in science and that sort of thing. Even with Thor, he explains it as it's so advanced that it seems like magic kind of a thing, right? But this is just pure Harry Potter magic, which I think is kind of an interesting turn to have, especially when you have another witch. There's a little bit of retconning going on as well, right? So because you're saying that this witch has existed all along in the MCU, which is kind of interesting. So now we're kind of incorporating more magic. I know Doctor Strange already exists and everything, but it's kind of interesting how now we have witches in the MCU, which is interesting because the way they battle is very, I don't want to say generic. It was kind of interesting, but I can foresee this being an issue later on where when you have 2 magical beings fight each other, is it just going to be lasers at each other over and over again? How are they going to be creative about? Because we don't want to turn it into where they're just everyone's a witch is just shooting different lasers at each other.
Well, that's a bigger problem with the MCU in general, right? Yeah. Everyone is so overpowered at this point that it's, what's the threat?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's an issue. Now, Thanos kind of solved all that, right? Because you're okay, so Captain America's, Iron Man's too strong, Thor's way too strong, and then you introduce someone like Thanos, and then all of a sudden, it's like an even playing field.
I mean, but not really. I mean, Thanos is on a different tier, but Thor was so overpowered. I mean, almost took him out in Infinity War. Scarlet Witch almost took him out. You know, when he had, I mean, so it's the Captain Marvel, you know, almost took him out. So
yeah, it's kind of hard to see
something.
how they're going to escalate. Is it going to be like a 24 situation where it's just like, are we jumping the shark already? Like, how are we going to introduce another bad guy? Is it just going to be like another Thanos? It'd be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if they bring in Galactus or somebody, but at some point they're gonna. They're gonna have to start focusing on the other characters.
Yeah,
Definitely. Can I pose a question, even though I'm the guest?
Do it.
Yeah.
Pose it.
So Adam, you were talking about the big baddie thing, and I don't know. Were any of you disappointed that there was not another, like a bigger threat who was kind of pulling the strings beyond Agatha?
I wasn't disappointed that there wasn't a bigger threat. I just wish I would have known about the threat longer. If that makes sense. Like, it's fine. Like, if they, like, from the beginning, like, maybe not the first episode, but at least episode 2 or 3, I would have liked to know that Agatha was the big baddie. Like, I want to know that, and I want to know who she is. I would have appreciated her backstory a little earlier than the second to last episode, you know, just so I could get familiar with who she is, what she's all about. Because again, you see her and she doesn't come into fullness until the two episodes from the end, and then it's like, oh wait, okay, now she's gone. Now what? I mean, it was in and out so fast, like
right.
it was ridiculous. So I guess for that sake, like, great villain. I just wish I knew more.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of a deep pull to, like, I mean, the people who were familiar with the Agatha Harkness character, I think around episode 4-ish, people were starting to think that that's who it was going to be. But yeah, like if you weren't familiar with the comic material, I could see not, you know, it being sort of disorienting.
So Reddit was dead set on it being Mephisto. I don't know if you guys saw that along the way.
Yeah, I don't. I try to stay clear.
Anthony's real bored right now. You can tell.
Yeah, his eyes are actually closing.
His 20-minute frozen timer is up. Yes, they're resetting in. He's right though. It's about every 20 minutes. I've been clocking it over here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he knows too much. I mentioned Mephisto and he froze.
Way too much. Yeah.
He's going to be in the MCU as the next big bad. He's King the Conqueror.
A question for the geniuses of the MCU. So, Rambo, where did power come from? Like, is she a superhero that I'm not familiar with, or that I am familiar with, and I'm like, oh, that's who that is? Because she was Matrix style taking care of those bullets there at the end, and then her little hint of eye power when she broke through the barrier of.
She is a superhero.
She is a superhero. Okay.
Yep.
Is it?
So my theory with that is it has to have something to do with Captain Marvel. Either she got the powers from Captain Marvel. Well,
she was actually Captain Marvel before Danvers in the comics, right?
In the comics, yeah.
Yeah.
So it has
in the MCU, she was the kid, right? Of Danvers' friend.
I have a feeling that her mom's death, because she died from cancer, right? I feel like it has something to do with Captain Marvel. I feel like it's what's going to be revealed is that she got the cancer from being around Captain Marvel. Like, I feel like that's going to be somehow, because if you looked at one of the particular episodes, when someone mentions Captain Marvel around her, like, she gives a face.
Yeah.
And either the face is she's mad that she left. She's mad that Captain Marvel left. Or she's mad that, something happened that she got her powers from Captain Marvel, and then maybe caused the cancer. That's kind of just a theory. of mine in terms of that.
So
By the
she
way,
didn't get her powers from Wanda then.
I don't
No.
think so. There was a couple people, there's a couple of theories online that said, well, did she get the powers because she was going through, and she had the willpower to go through, so she gets the powers? I don't think that's the case. I think she got through because she did have powers already. By the way, I do know it's the camera, because as soon as I unplugged the camera, my computer unfroze. So
Now you know what you have to do.
now we know what we have to do.
The twist, Anthony. You know what you have to do.
Oh, by the way, Josh, I did want to answer your question, the question that you proposed about, do you feel like there was a little bit disappointed? I will say this: I did feel a little bit let down that there wasn't another big reveal. Whether it was in the end credit scene, I think I was more disappointed with the end credit scenes. I was expecting to see something else. Whether it was revealing like Mephisto or another big bad guy, or like a tease for Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier and Falcon, something like that. I was expecting that, and it just felt like. I guess the end credit scene, at least, we're like, okay, so she's looking for her kids, right? That's the big reveal, like that her kids are somehow still exist somehow somewhere,
right? Yeah, which in the books has to do with Mephisto.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like there was a little bit of a letdown. I was kind of wanting some other big reveal. I think in my nerd heart, I wanted something like Magneto showing up or something like that. Like that's kind of what I wanted to happen, and obviously it's kind of ridiculous to think that because Marvel was just screwing with us. Thanks, Feige, for that.
No, it'll be something totally off course, like in episode 1 of season 2, if that happens. She'll be in her little log cabin, and all of a sudden it'll pan to like somebody walking in the woods with a staff and a deck of cards. And then Gambit.
So let me ask you, let me propose. Let me propose a
totally
question.
Random, you know. That's how they meet.
So my question to the panel here is, so our new Vision, right? So Vision, he downloaded the memories from the other Vision. Mm-hmm. Do you want Vision to instantly become Vision again, or do you want there to be some sort of arc? What do you want to see? Do you want to just
I don't need it.
White Vision is Vision without emotions, right? So in
the books
he has the same protective goals and whatnot, but has no feelings for Wanda. So that's what I would want to see.
All right.
I second that. That's a really good answer, because that brings in inherent emotion and drama, of her looking, of her looking at him and there just being nothing in response. Yeah.
But he now has those memories, so I think. You don't really need the arc anymore. That kind of was the arc, honestly, as far as the battle goes, right?
Yeah.
So we think he'll show back up and hang out with her in the lodge.
Maybe he'll fly in
while she astral projects herself studying or whatever she's doing.
Yeah, that was a pretty nifty little. That was pretty cool.
Did you find it weird that he just left? Vision just left. He just like, okay, I have the memories now. See ya.
Cool.
Yeah,
Peace.
That was a little odd. I figured
he had important things to do.
Find her again, but I guess not.
Where is Vision going?
What a loser.
Where's he going? Who knows?
Stark Tower.
Oh, you think that's where he's going? He's going to Stark Tower, right? Okay, excellent. All right, is that the end of our WandaVision discussion and review?
No, well, so. This is why I don't have issue with the ending or whatnot. You've got to reset a little, right? Endgame was so much fan service and just like dopamine hit one after the other, right? To the point of where like you've got to bring it back down and reset, similar to how the first few MCU films were. Right. Otherwise, it's just not sustainable. Like you just can't constantly up it every single time. So that's why I'm glad they kind of ended it not with some big hint or reveal that's coming up, but just sort of a normal story of, the character continues, but it's not the next biggest thing coming.
I think you're making some fair points there. I can buy that argument. I was more distracted with Josh giving a tour of his house, but he's moved from his closet to his house. I think this is what's happened. He realized that his wife found out where he was, so he needed to change locations, right? Or he would get another mark on the other side. But I think, Jeremy, I can buy that. I don't know. Maybe it's just I wanted a little more of that dopamine, right? I've always said that watching Endgame was the greatest experience I've ever had in a movie theater. It was the greatest, yeah. But
yeah, I could see that.
I think we watched it together the first time.
Yeah, we did.
And I was might be the only person in the theater who was not happy when Captain America got Mjolnir.
Why were you not happy about that? Interesting.
I'm you're aware of the fact that I'm not the biggest Captain America fan in general.
Okay. You hate freedom.
I also knew it was going to happen, and I don't know. Like I just don't. I don't buy it. Like I'm still firmly Team Iron Man in Civil War. So I just don't buy the fact that Captain America is good enough to wield the hammer.
I think he became good because obviously the Russo brothers said that he always could lift the hammer, right? That's they came out and said that. So in the Ultron scene where he tries to pick it up and he can't pick it up, like he moves it a little bit. What the Russo brothers saying that he was just doing that because he didn't want to embarrass Thor or something like that. I don't buy that. I think he couldn't. I think he wasn't worthy until that particular moment. Like I think he became worthy. Yeah. So yeah, because it's funny because a lot of people, they know that I'm a big MCU fan, a big Marvel fan, and they always bring up the Scorsese comments. Like it's just an amusement park. Like MCU is their amusement parks. Comic book movies are amusement parks, and I tell them I agree with them. And Endgame was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had watching a movie in a movie theater.
I will say a couple of the monologues in WandaVision were of a higher quality of writing than most of the monologues and writing and dialogue than we get in Marvel movies. There's the now infamous line of, what is grief if not love persevering, and a few very good lines in tonight's episode as well.
Yeah, definitely a very emotional lines and everything. Yeah, certainly. Thank you for choosing me as your mother or something like that. That was that got me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's kind of, I don't know. I still kind of engage with the screenwriting world a little bit and have watched a lot of people dunk on WandaVision after the praise that last week's episode got, specifically with the line I was just quoting a minute ago about grief and love persevering, and some kind of like elitist sort of opinions on imagine if you thought that was a really great line, like what kind of movies have you been watching? It's like, well, no, I do. I watch a lot of stuff. I just happen to think that was a really great line, and it's okay if Marvel has some genuinely artistic and emotionally poignant moments. Like it doesn't have to just be one thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Josh. And what Josh is trying to say, he's still cool. He's still hip, right? He's still.
I listen to podcasts. That was an old man voice, by the way, if you're wondering what just happened.
By the way, when Josh taught at Auburn, he was the cool hip teacher, right? He's like, all right, guys, everyone stand on your desks, right? That's what he said. The first day of class, he told us all to stand on our desks.
Just throw away your textbook.
Yeah, we don't need the textbooks.
That's exactly what happened.
You just wasted $200. I don't know why you bought that thing.
I know, like, why would anybody be happy about that? That's always like the cool teacher moment.
Those kids were not buying their own textbooks. Promise.
Well, that's true. There was the one kid that did. He's like, I spent 70 hours at McDonald's trying to save up for this book.
Sounds horrible. Mr. Hillyer is my dad. Call me Josh. Did we call you Josh, or did we call you Mr. Hillyer?
I didn't ever give you anything to call me. I did that my whole time of teaching. I never told anybody what to call me, so I got everything. I got a lot of Dr. Hillier, which I don't have my doctorate. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I got a lot of doctors for me too. When I was working at Auburn, I wasn't even a professor. I worked at the front desk.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, hello, doctor. How are you? It's like, I do your schedules, but thanks for the compliment, I guess.
Sure.
I feel uncomfortable when people call me Professor Denar. And I know a professor has become sort of like the gender neutral term for a teacher nowadays, which is cool.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was "Hey you."
Yeah, well, that's it.
I
Yo,
like that one.
teach.
Hey you. I got a question.
Hey, teach.
Yeah, or that.
But yeah, great. Awesome. Is that the conclusion of our WandaVision discussion? What do you think? Greatest
Who are you
show of
looking at?
all time?
I'm waiting
worst
for the
show.
camera to freeze right now. As it freezes like this.
So on the release schedule, next week is like a recap sort of episode, or like a behind the scenes episode, and then it goes straight into Falcon and Winter Soldier. Is that right?
I think so. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is right around the corner. Now there was rumors and speculation that there was going to be a surprise additional episode of WandaVision, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's the last thing I saw. It was going to be like a behind the scenes sort of, anthology kind of episode.
Yeah.
And then on the 19th, straight into Falcon. Like I think every week for the rest of the year, something new is coming out on Disney Plus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Especially after 2020 and how this Spartan of a year that was.
Yeah. I mean, all these shows are being filmed in someone's basement. I mean, should be anyway. I mean,
Disney has a very large basement.
It's a very large basement, but it is someone's basement. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. WandaVision. So we move on to trivia now, Acid?
You can move on to trivia.
All right. So, Josh, we end the show with some trivia. And yes, I will always lose.
I'm notoriously bad at it, so
We're all bad at these new ones.
okay.
Yeah. I'm still
And
I'm
Acid,
still in the book. I haven't even popped open the box yet. I guess I
What kind of trivia are we talking here?
Okay, so we have
Nerd
this book
trivia.
now from the Sugar Daddy, also known as J Dog or Jeremy. Got this book. Can you see that? If I hold the angle just right, the Flaming Geeks Book of Geeky Trivia, and then there's a game over here that I'm just going to use the cards out of that I haven't even opened yet. It's called Geek Out. But basically, it's just question and answer type stuff. I've got a bunch of different topics that we'll go through. I'm pulling up my
Prove that you're a nerd by answering these questions.
It's just highly specific.
It is. It gets pretty
specific kind of questions.
It's really weird. I don't know why it's so specific. Like some of it's really easy. And then you get a question like, so how long was Captain America's toenail on his left foot? I mean, it's really quite crazy. But I'll give you a few categories. And Josh, since you are the guest, you'll get to pick our starting category. All right. Let me get in here. Okay. Categories are, and I'll just rattle off 4. You can pick from these 4. Difficulty setting, easy. Star Trek. Difficulty setting, hard. Or movies.
Movies.
Movies. Okay, we go to movies.
I almost chose Star Trek for you, Anthony.
Well, I would lose to Jeremy.
Well, we did it last week, right? Or the
Is there
week before.
another Star Trek category? Is there more Star Trek questions?
I mean, I'm sure there's more questions, but
Let's go to the next page. All right. Okay, here we go.
I know that movie.
You do? Good.
Hey,
All
it's
right,
a good-
first question. And what you're going to
That
do
was
is
Buyer's
I'll
Club.
go to each person with an answer. I won't tell you if it's right or wrong. And then you can write it down. You can scream it at me. Doesn't matter. And then whoever gets it right will get a point. So, whose body does Agent Smith infiltrate in one of the Matrix movies?
What body does Agent Smith?
What body does Agent Smith infiltrate in one of the Matrix movies?
It's the kid, right?
What are you asking me?
Quicksilver. That's how they introduced the
I will need a name.
X-Men.
You'll need a name?
I will need a name.
I have no idea.
We just did a show on The Matrix like last week.
But only
Okay,
the
so
first one.
perhaps
This
we did.
happened in the third one? I don't know. I might be way off.
Okay, everybody ready to answer? You should know this.
Oh, really?
Anthony, you should know this. Go.
I don't think I know this. I just wrote down the Oracle. I think at one time, doesn't he copy the Oracle?
He copies the Oracle. He does not
Or-
infiltrate the Oracle.
I want to say he. Okay, Aaron. So, all right, Jeremy.
I have no idea.
Josh, what you got?
Quicksilver, yeah.
Quicksilver. It is actually Bane. Remember on the other ship where he comes and he takes over and he kills everybody and blows the EMP at the end? You're right, it was in the third movie. But his name was Bane, and they were both laying out there on the table at the end of the second one.
Wow, it's good memory.
So 000.
Everybody's a loser in that one, except for me, because I'm a genius. And I have all the
And it's
answers
a-
right here in this book. Okay. Oh, y'all did that one last week. We'll do this one. Okay. Who directed the 2012 movie The Dark Knight Rises?
So we go from an extremely unanswerable one to one that's common knowledge by everybody.
It's a book, and it has questions and answers. So we'll start with Jeremy, since he's so confident.
I didn't say anything. Anthony was the one talking. Christopher Nolan.
Anthony,
It is Christopher Nolan.
Josh.
It is Christopher Nolan.
Okay. It's actually Harrison Ford. No, just kidding. It's Christopher Nolan.
Directorial
Right.
debut.
Yeah, how
Yes.
did you know? How much energy is required to power the flux capacitor? Now, I will say Anthony missed a similar question to this last week because he didn't know how fast the DeLorean needed to be.
Mhm.
I have a feeling he's not going to get this one either. But I could be wrong. He might surprise me. But
The
this time
unit
we're
of
going to
measurement
start.
has always intrigued me.
What's that?
So the unit of measurement has always intrigued
Oh,
me.
yeah. All right, Josh, let's hear it.
I don't know. It's something gigawatts, right?
That's not how they pronounce it though.
Oh, that's okay. Yes, I don't know. 800 Geiger watts? I don't know.
All right, I want to see Anthony's answer.
Is it 2,100 gigawatts?
And Jeremy, let's hear the correct answer.
1.21 gigawatts.
1.21
Gigawatts.
That's it. You got it. And it's actually spelled gigawatts.
Do they spell it with a J?
Yep.
Then I have no idea what that is.
I don't either. Maybe they were trying to be cute.
Yeah,
I always assumed it was gigawatts and
said that.
You just pronounced it wrong?
and what's his name?
It is in quotes.
Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher
Yeah,
Lloyd
Christopher Lloyd.
just mispronounced it when he was reading.
I think that question is retconned.
Okay. What is Indiana Jones's full and complete name? Indiana Jones's full and complete name.
I mean, is this a
actually-
trick question?
I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Indiana Jones' name is actually Indiana Jones because it's the dog. We called the dog Indiana. Just me?
I'm assuming that's not what they meant. So we'll go the other route and start with Anthony.
I have no idea.
Oh gosh, Jeremy.
Yeah, I forget his first name.
Josh,
just
say a name, and if
earthly.
you're right, I'll give you $1 million. Or actually, Anthony will give you $1 million.
Okay.
Gary.
Do what?
It's Gary. Gary Indiana Jones.
Gary and no. Henry Walton Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's right. Totally forgot.
Yeah, he started Walmart, if I remember correctly.
That's what you did. Oh, we did that one last week too. Oh, speaking of witches, who did Tim Curry play in The Worst Witch?
There's a movie called The Worst Witch.
According to this book.
Who did Tim Curry play?
Have you seen it?
Nope.
Have any of you seen it?
Rocky Horror.
We don't know. Just give us the answer and move on.
All right, The Grand Wizard.
Oh.
Some of these questions are just absolutely...
I went to IMDb and I was going to look it up, which is, I know, against the rules, but still.
Okay, well, this is... Okay, we'll go back in time. What was the name of the human main character in the movie, I hope we've all seen this, E.T.?
What is the human?
The human main character in E.T., what was his name in the movie? Not his actual.
Just his first name?
Yeah, just his first name.
Okay.
Have you seen E.T.?
When I was like 12.
It's a good movie. It still holds up.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think?
Elliot is the kid's name.
Josh.
Elliot is the kid's name.
Anthony.
You know what? I just remembered.
It's actually Kevin.
Yeah, I just remembered. Elliot, I think?
It is Elliot, yes, you are correct. All right, one last question. We're going to go for a different topic. I'm just going to do this, and we're going to land on something. Ooh, Wrath of Miscellaneous is the category.
Oh, wow.
Who knows what is even in here? Oh, my gosh.
Is that a Mortal Kombat hat?
It is a Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 11, actually.
Nice. Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
To the ones.
Mortal
The ones.
Kombat.
All right,
What do you think about that trailer?
We're
Okay,
going to do
yes.
two of these because I want to hear the answer of the first one, and I want all of you to say it simultaneously. Okay. Who you gonna call?
Mephisto.
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters. It is
That's right, yeah.
Ghostbusters.
It's not like a question.
That was the question.
Mephisto.
Number 11. Who you gonna call?
No, I was saying Anthony was like, Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Okay. Josh may have an up on this one because he's a video gamer. What company created the MMO RPG Anarchy Online? You should all know the company. All right. Anthony's frozen. All right, Josh, we'll start with you. What do you have? I want to hear the educated guess.
I really don't know. I remember a game called Anarchy Reigns that Platinum Games developed that came out on Xbox and PlayStation a few years ago, but I'm just stalling here. Let's say Electronic Arts.
Okay. Jeremy.
I'm sure this is wrong. I'm going to say Eidos.
Okay. Anthony.
I'll say Bungie.
It's actually Funcom.
Okay.
I've legitimately never heard of
Never
that.
heard of Funcom? Funcom's old school. Okay, so yeah. There you go. There's the trivia.
There's a true.
Josh wins by default.
What?
Yep. He's the winner.
Oh, okay, sure.
Let's do a Doctor Who question real quick. I just want to see how tough that is.
Okay. All right. Let me go to the. Hang on. I know it's in here. Doctor Who and Friends 61. Okay.
How many seasons of the Doctor Who have they had?
So
The answer to the question is too many.
All right, let's see.
Too many
I'll just do
seasons.
number one. What cocktail did the doctor probably accidentally invent in France?
Okay, that's the kind of questions they are.
I would drink this.
I remember this episode.
So yeah, what cocktail did the doctor probably?
You call yourself a Doctor Who fan? You don't even know this answer?
What is your educated guess?
It
If
was
you
a
get
whole
half of it right, I'll give you a point.
I don't.
And you'll win.
I remember the episode, but I don't remember what the drink was.
Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody else? No.
No, what is it?
It is a banana daiquiri.
Oh,
All right, well, there you go. Excellent. Well, there you go. There's our trivia.
There you go.
is that a
Josh,
French drink?
I may open the box next week. I'm gonna throw. I got a whole week. I got a whole week to get some really good trivia going. So I'll open the box next week and we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
All right, there's our show. Josh, is there something that you want to? Is there something you want to promote, plug? Is there anything that you want to say before we head out of here?
No, just that was fun. I haven't gotten to talk about stuff like this in a while, so thanks for having me.
All right, well, we probably should wrap this up before your wife finds out your new location and you have to move again.
I really want the camera to freeze to end this.
For old time's sake.
That's our show. Comment, to subscribe and like and do all that other stuff that you do and the things. You can write comments about what you like and the things. What do you disagree with?
Leave your comments on Reddit.
Which one of these people do you agree with the most? Disagree with the most? Comment, like, and then post on other websites, and then mention us to your friends in person and other places. All right, there we go. That's